my own world of make-believe.
Hi yo everyone, welcome back to another video, or just welcome if this is your first time on the channel. Today I'm reviewing Bird Box Barcelona and episode 5 and 6 of Secret Invasion. Let's start with Bird Box first. Okay, so back in 2018 when Bird Box came out, it was a cool concept and it was executed well enough to make up for a good movie. But when this spin-off was announced, I wasn't really excited for it. I wasn't sure what they're gonna do with it because I thought the concept was already well executed in the first one and there's no need of another movie with same concept. Like The Quiet Place 2 was a great movie, but it lessened the threat of the creature and was almost same as the first one. But I will say Bird Box Barcelona actually expanded on the concept really nicely. But don't be too happy Bird Box fans cause it has its own set of problems. And it kinda undermined the threat of the movie as well. Just like first one, this one also follows a character stuck in this world where if you see these creatures outside, you will either die or go crazy. So the character has to survive this risky world where you cannot trust anyone while still taking care of their child. I actually like this movie's story more than the first one. I'm just talking about the story here, not its execution or screenplay. I actually like the idea of making a spin-off of a movie like this set in some other location. You get to see the origins of this creature or whatever it is from a different point of view. So the idea is good, but it is mostly executed horribly, especially in second half. The first act of the movie is the strongest. First act is like the top of this roller coaster that only went downhill from there. Second act was still somewhat decent, but I didn't like third act at all. This movie suffered from pacing problems. Some of the stuff happened way too slow, while other happened way too quick. The acting was great, the cast did their best, but I think the characters given to them were not written well, except for Sebastian and Claire. They gave some characters backstories that they didn't even explore. So when the characters start talking about some event from their past, you don't even care about it because they didn't explore it and it just feels like a waste of time. One thing I really liked about the first one was the way they built the threat outside in the world. It showed these characters killing themselves horribly and losing their minds. This one mostly censors everything, and that kinda undermined the threat as well. They played it safe this time. Also, I think they explored the creature a bit more than they should have. It wasn't necessary. The fear of these creatures or whatever comes from not being able to see them. It's the fear of unknown, which may be the most scary threat one can use in a project. So exploring the threat more and making it weak wasn't necessary. Also, the first movie wasn't really horror, but it had at least a horror vibe to it. This one wasn't scary at all. It was just partly intriguing with an interesting character played by Mario Casas, who did a great job.
It's me, Mario!
Georgina Campbell and Ella Subert were also good in their roles. Overall, it was an okay movie, but if it didn't have pacing problems, I would have enjoyed it a lot more because it was an interesting spin on the story. But they dropped the ball with this one.
It is what it is.
Also, this movie is in Spanish, but there's also some English in there and some German as well. So don't worry about not understanding it. It probably has your language too. Just wait for it. That's all I will say about it. Let's talk about Secret Invasion now. In my episode 1 to 4 review, I talked about how it's a slow burn and partly boring show with some good in between. You can check out the video by clicking on the card on top right. I would like to warn you that there will be spoilers for the first 4 episodes, but not this one. So, at the end of episode 4, the president is attacked and Talos is killed. This one continues from there.
Duh.
The episode was not bad. It was another short one, being just 36 minutes long with like 30 minutes of actual content. It had few decent moments that were enjoyable, but I hate to say that this show is painfully generic. It has nothing special going for it, and I want to love this show because I can tell they genuinely tried with this one. That's something I can't say about some of the recent MCU projects like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but it just doesn't hit you the way it should. Also, this show is pretty slow and it barely features any action, but when they do feature an action scene, it is super generic. Like this episode had one, but it was so basic It's like they don't even try to make exciting stuff exciting. Okay, so after watching 5th episode, I was hoping that they will do something so exciting that our opinion of the show will change, or at least something that makes watching previous 5 episodes worth it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. This one was another okayish episode with like 1 or 2 decent scenes. It was 36 minutes long as well, and it ended so quick, like it didn't even matter. They just wanted it to end, even if in the most lame way possible. This storyline could have been epic, but now it's just a boring 6-episode show. Whose idea was it to adapt this overfilled storyline with just 6 episodes? She-Hulk had 9 episodes and it had practically nothing going for it. Also, it's a bummer that She-Hulk managed to pull off a better season finale than this show. This show just didn't hit the way it should have. Being a serious MCU show doesn't mean anything when it is not executed properly. We wanted Marvel to make a serious show, but there's a way to make serious show, especially this world at stake type of show. But that element seems to be missing from it. There's a rule of show, don't tell. But I guess they threw that rule out of the window and only focused on tell rule. The characters are just talking, living expositions, explaining their plans, throwing threats around, anything but action, or actually doing something special. Also, even serious projects can be lighthearted and fun at points as long as they are not going the crazy MCU fun route, like Love and Thunder. This show has some serious moments, but they don't make you feel anything, like Talos and Maria Hill's death. They just feel like, well, that happened moments. I mean, Maria Hill's death was shocking, but it didn't make you feel anything emotionally, cause either the direction is bad or I am heartless. For my own peace of mind, I will go with the former option. This is a big storyline, and like I said in my previous video, it should have been a phase-long storyline with different superheroes involved. And if some of them or beloved characters from their movies died, then it would have felt like that the Skrulls are an actual threat, or that the world is really at stake. What did they expect us to feel over the death of this relatively new character, or this underdeveloped one? Like, don't be sad, Nick. Just pick some random extra from the crowd. They hold the same value as these characters for viewers. Okay, maybe not Maria Hill, but Talos. He is barely developed. Did they expect us to act like this?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And am I actually heartless? Probably. Also, I will reveal that the show ended with a cliffhanger, meaning this story will continue. So whoever will continue this story has a difficult task of making it interesting, because the only thing that this show did for this storyline is that make it seem really boring. And one thing about MCU movies is that even if they are bad, the villains always shine through. Wanda, Gore, Kang, Namor were the highlight of their movies, even if their movies were filled with issues. But lately, that doesn't seem to be the case with MCU shows. Like, Gravik was really boring. I didn't care about him at all. And I don't even remember the villain of Miss Marvel. And I guess these two were the villains of She-Hulk, but both were really bad. And while Ethan Hawke's hero was good, but he was handled so bad in the last episode and they never explored his potential. That's weird. You would think a villain can be better explored in a series with 6 or more episodes. But I guess that doesn't work for MCU. Also, you had an interesting character like Nick Fury. How do you waste him? He didn't do anything smart until the last episode. Even in the last one, he didn't do something extremely clever or something that we haven't seen before. That's the big issue of this show. It is so generic and predictable. Nothing special. If I have to give a title to this series, I will call it Show, the High Budget Show. The CGI in this episode was pretty bad, but we have gotten used to that, so I won't talk about it. Also, it is pretty nitpicky, but they could have at least made sure that Gravik's hand placement matched with the previous shot. It's so obvious cause they are the main focus of this shot, but they didn't bother to correct it. But that's all I have to say about it. Just to end on a positive note, I will say what I liked about these 2 episodes. First, the acting. As I said in my last video, Samuel L. Jackson is the biggest reason to watch it. He is incredible as always, and I really liked Olivia Colman's acting. She did an exceptional job with her character. Also, the theme of this series is pretty good. They use it during a scene in the last episode, and that elevated the scene. But that's all I liked about these 2 episodes and the whole series pretty much. Okay, that's the end of the review. Now, I am gonna show something that's a spoiler for the last episode. So, if you haven't watched it, subscribe, like, and leave. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Look at this. Look at this. Whose idea was this? Did they not see how stupid this looked? Amelia Clark went from realistic looking dragons to this. I don't know what else I can say. So I will just end the video. If you like the video, press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Comment below if you have watched Bird Box Barcelona or The Secret in Man. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.